I'm glad that went well. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about being fully embodied, and I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory, but if it's not, let me explain. So to me, being fully embodied means like being like, this may sound like it's going to be basic information for you guys, but trust me, it won't be. It's not. Okay, so we're going to be talking about being fully embodied, and that just means like fully embodying the energy of what you want. And I don't just mean
That's a mess.
Just gonna mute someone who was coughing. Okay, but I don't just mean like fully embodying, meaning like feel the feelings of it, because whatever. There's more to it than that. Like what I personally believe in practice and have personally experienced in exploring the idea of what the fuck does it even mean to be an energetic match to what you want, so that it actually manifests. Right? I'm sure we've all been there. Ooh, Laura's drinking some wine. Party. Okay, but anyways, so for me, I truly believe and feel and just know based on experience that we will just naturally be an energetic match to what we want as soon as we have the desire, when we weed out the bullshit, right? How's my lighting? Is it okay? Whatever. So when we weed out the bullshit, meaning like, I'll give you guys an example that fucked me up in my business for a while, was I would put a lot of pressure on myself to sell out some offers at some points in time. And there was always like this conscious focus on like hitting a certain goal, right? Let me know if any of you can relate in the chat box. But there was always like this conscious obsession about hitting a goal or filling the number or hitting a financial goal or getting this many people in the door or whatever it was. That's not very, yes. Yeah. I had a feeling at least some of you, if not all of you, would relate. It's a very human thing, right? But the desire goes so much deeper than that. And that's what we're going to talk about. Which you'll naturally be in touch with, again, when you weed out the bullshit. Yes. Cool. So something that I had to eventually realize was like, so I asked myself two questions, and this is going to be your guys' homework. This is why I wanted you guys live on the call, or if you're on the replay, hey, I want you to start integrating this tool into your lives. So something I would always ask myself is, let me write these two down so I don't lose my train of thought. My friend Telsa from Iowa, my best friend, she would always say like, oh, I'm losing my track of thought. And I was like, it's train of thought. And now I always say it wrong. Okay. But these two things that I'm going to tell you about are literally going to change your life. And okay. Almost done. I don't know why I said okay. Got your hopes up. Okay, now we're done. Okay, so these two questions, again, I want you to start integrating them into your life, into your business, because I know a lot of you are business owners here. But this is applicable for everyone from just a law of attraction based perspective. But so I started asking myself two things. So for example, like using Genevieve's past business experiences as an example, she would fixate on these things, try and fill them up. And she would be like, I'm going to try and be an energetic match and like try and like feel the feelings and it's done. And let me try like orgasming to the idea of it being done. Like I tried all the things, right? But it's like none of them worked until I truly got down to the heart of like, what am I actually seeking from this? Right? So that's question number one. I want you guys to write this down. What am I actually seeking from this for everything that you want? Right? So what am I actually seeking from filling this offer? Right? And it's just about being brutally honest with yourself, right? And the brutal honesty is where the magic happens. So what am I actually seeking from this? A lot of the times it was like, if I, in me filling this offer, I will feel financial security or stability. This will provide me that, right? This will provide me a sense of like, so safety and security. This will provide me like a sense of I'm good enoughness, right? Those were always like my two things that I sought out externally in my business for a while. So what am I seeking from this? And then the solution is, once that clarity is there of like, what am I actually seeking from this, so that I'm not just running around like a chicken with its head cut off trying to fill a fucking offer or whatever it was. I can actually be intentional, right? So what am I seeking from this? A sense of security, knowing that I'm good enough. So then your job is to embody knowing that you're already secure. You get to be secure. You get to be good enough, and you are already good enough independent of this offer, right? Um, one second. Okay, just had to mute somebody. Okay, and then the next thing is, what am I making this mean if it doesn't work? Okay, this one is huge and so important and so amazing and so life-changing. They both are, truthfully. But this one, I really like this question because it's like, there's a lot of things that we have as like unconscious driving forces for our brains to seek things out, right? And if we're not aware of what these unconscious drivers are, right? Because our brain is hardwired to, avoid pain and seek pleasure, but more so to avoid pain than to seek pleasure, right? That's why so many people live very stagnant lives and get a 9-to-5 job, make the same amount of money, go home and bang the same person. I'm just kidding. Nothing wrong with that. Feel a little goofy today. But anyways, a lot of people live very stagnant lives. Like that's like the normal in society. I mean, not so much anymore. Things are definitely changing, which is a beautiful and amazing thing. But, they work a job, make the same amount of money, do the same goddamn thing every day, live in the same house, take the same vacation or some variation of that same vacation every year, blah, 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 until they're old enough to retire, right? Fuck that life, boring life. No judgment, but no thanks. But anyway, so this question of like, what am I making this mean if it doesn't work? The whole reason why I said the whole 9-to-5 thing was to just give you guys an example that a lot of people fall into that mentality. Hi, Danny. A lot of people fall into that mentality of like, let me just stay comfortable and avoid these things. But you're in this group. You're not one of those people. Congratulations. Thank fucking God. Right. So when something's not working or it doesn't feel like it's working or clicking or flowing, right? Because ideally we want to just be so in our hearts and so in alignment that we can come into things like offers or income goals or growth in whatever way we're seeking it in our lives or in our businesses, and we can just glide right into it and it can just unfold and we can just stay up to speed with it. That's a beautiful thing. That's ideal. But sometimes we don't do that, right? We come into it in an off energy, or we come into it in a good energy and then throw ourselves off, right? And these two things have literally saved my life. So that's what I'm telling you guys about them. Okay, but anyways, back to the second thing. What am I making this mean if it doesn't work, right? So that's kind of like the thing that your brain is kind of like avoiding, right? So my sister actually uncovered a fear at a live event last year, which I thought was really interesting. I don't remember the full blown effect of it, but basically she was like, she had to deal with her own scarcity thing because we had similar upbringings, right? But she was like, I'm secretly afraid that this won't, like when she actually fully let herself go there and acknowledge her feelings instead of just trying to avoid it to be an energetic match, right? Be positive, think good thoughts, be in the feelings of it. It's like, you can't do that until you deal with the things, right? And then when you deal with the things, the baggage goes away and you can actually do something as simple as decide to have what you want. Right? But you can't decide to make more money, decide to make $30,000, decide to fucking fill your program, or decide to like be successful in this avenue if you have all this baggage you're avoiding dealing with, right? Is this making sense for you guys? So something like, you guys probably know Amanda Francis. Like when I first started following her online, she would always be like, just decide. And like, I was like, okay, cool. Let me just decide. And I could never just decide, but I would get so pissed off, like hearing her or other people say like, just decide. And I was like, you can't just decide. Like, it's so hard, but it's not hard, but we just make it hard because we have this baggage that we're not dealing with, right? You can't just decide from this fucked up energy, right? But in all reality, you can simply just decide. It can just be easy. You can just have what you want. So what am I making this mean if it doesn't work? Going back to my example, if I don't fill this offer, it means security isn't, like, I don't get to have a secure life. I don't get to be safe. It means I am not actually good enough, right? Do you see how these two are kind of the same type of thing, just in a different way? Are you guys catching this? Use the chat box, people. Use the chat box. Okay. Don't worry, you'll get it. So what am I seeking from this? And what am I making this mean if it doesn't work? So these two questions is like, what I would always do and what I do is like, I get into the, what am I making this mean if it doesn't work? And this question creates awareness around like, what am I actually avoiding dealing with here? Right? Because it's like, if I avoid dealing with this thing, I actually still bring it with me. and it still doesn't work, but it's like, I'm just pretending like it's not there. So question, one of the things I'm seeking is more of the feeling I get when I'm one-on-one coaching. So I need more clients to experience that. One of the things I'm seeking is more of the feeling I can get. So you want more one-on-one clients? Is that what you're saying? Okay. I got the head nod. So for me, like with my one-on-one clients, it's really just as simple, and don't worry, I'll bring it backwards for you. But it's really just as simple as like, I decide to have another client, and it's like just getting behind the value of my work and just knowing how fucking amazing it is to work with me. I have a one-on-one client on here, I think, so she can vouch. Just kidding. But anyways, just knowing how fucking amazing it is to work with me and how life-changing it is to work with me. And, and also like that I get to be paid a certain amount of money, and like something that really helped me get behind the idea of making a lot of money and being paid a lot of money in my one-on-one coaching was just really truly understanding the concept of how valuable our time is, right? Not just because, oh, I'm a big deal, my time's valuable, but just as a human being on the planet, like your time is your most valuable resource, like more valuable than money or anything like that. So it's like, in order for someone to get your one-on-one undivided attention as a special, amazing person on the planet, like there's nothing wrong with being highly compensated for that. Life-changing. Haha. Yeah. So for me, it was always just about getting behind the value of my work and deciding to have more clients and just knowing I get to have that, and then just like forgetting about it, living my life, because it's so guaranteed. But it's like what a lot of us tend to do is like, we're like, okay, let me try and decide. But in all reality, we're actually just trying to strong arm it, right? Because we don't actually believe we can have it. And so we go, I'm going to decide to have a one-on-one client or just 2 one-on-one clients at this rate or whatever it is. But if there's any kind of offness there and it doesn't feel totally easy, or like I get to have that, there's baggage you're bringing into it, right? So yeah, hang on. So what was I saying? Drinking water helps me gather my thoughts. Also, I'm just thirsty. But what a lot of us do is like we try to strong arm it, right? So I decide to have $10,000 or I decide to make this much money per month. But it's like, okay, here's the thing. So what a lot of people do, if you're a strong armor like I used to be, if you're a strong armor like I used to be and you're like, let me just try and force it. I read your question. Now I'm thinking about your question at the same time I'm trying to talk. Okay. But if you're a strong armor like I used to be, there's always just like this feeling of, these 2 questions tie into it very well. So like, what am I seeking from this? And what am I making this mean if it doesn't work? Like you just shift into this energy that's just looser around it. That's like, I don't actually need this thing. It's almost like I'm like, if it didn't work out hypothetically for whatever reason, like I would still be fine, right? If you didn't fill the offer, I would still be worthy. You know what I mean? If I didn't sign the clients, I would still know I'm a badass, right? So like, what is it that you're being codependent with in the scenario, working or not working? Like, what is it you think you need from this, right? That's kind of my point of like, what am I seeking from this? So it's like, if this doesn't work, what does that mean? What am I seeking from it, right? And it's just like giving that to yourself now. Does that make sense? Are you guys following? Check box. Yes, got it. Yes. Okay, Laura, there was a typo in there. So I still know I'm a badass, but I do get the experience of coaching that I love. Okay, let me just unmute you, Laura. Laura, speak.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, I'm speaking. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little quiet, but we gotcha.
So, hold on. I'll just move my earphone a bit. So when I ask the question, what am I actually seeking from this? What I'm seeking is the feeling when I'm in session with my one-to-one client. That's just totally my bliss. And without the client, I don't get that experience. So that's what I'm making.
So how I would kind of approach that is like, man, I love working with people one-on-one and it feels so goddamn good. I'm so goddamn good at this. Cool. So I'm going to have more one-on-one clients. Right. Because I feel like when you're thinking about it, I can just tell by the way you're talking is like, I want this, but I don't get to have it. So it's simply making the shift into like, I like this so much. Let me go get it. right? It's almost like, ooh, chocolate sounds good. Let me just go drive to the store and get the chocolate. You know what I mean? It's really just that easy. You have to make that shift in your mind from like, I'm not getting it to I get to have it. It's if you literally do that one thing, you will get the clients. Make sense?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, now I have to mute you. Oh, you did it yourself. Good girl. Good job. Okay, so yeah, and that's another thing. Like when I had this breakthrough not that long ago in my business, you guys, where I was like, it was mind blowing and it changed things. And it's actually what cultivated my, I don't know if you guys follow my launches, but it actually is the energy that cultivated my desire, and like the energy that built up was the new Paradigm Mastermind. That was like the overflow of like, how am I giving this back to the world? And I really, it was kind of like the last thing where it was like, I brought all these things full circle or whatever. But anyway, so there was like this realization that I had, and it was like what the whole purpose of me, because you know how everyone's like, oh, need to know your why for coaching. Like I never connected to that. Like I was like, yeah, I want to help people, duh. And like, I want to make money and I want to like be free or whatever. But there was nothing I actually felt like connected to in my heart, you know? And I was just like, whatever, I must have it in there somewhere. This isn't a big deal, or it's not a real thing, whatever. But anyways, long story short, I ran into some resistance in my business, and I just really kind of like anchored in and started to journal around it, because I have a rule, which Danny knows, that anytime I start to feel off energy, there's just this standard that I set for myself, like at the end of last year, that was like, anytime I feel off energy, I sit down and I address it right away. I journal and I like create awareness around it so that I can just move the energy and not sit in it for a day or two and then have it become a block or a story. Right. But anyway, so I had some resistance come up, like it does because we're humans. And so I sat down to address it, and I was like, and I just like trusted my intuition on what I wanted to, like how I kind of wanted to hone in on it. And I was like, what do I actually want from this? Right. And that's why I'm telling you guys this is very relevant to this stuff we're talking about today. But I was like, what do I actually want from this? And I was like, yeah, I want to, and it was tied into this bigger vision that I was having for my business come up. And I was like, I want this like higher sense of like leadership and also like more money. And I was like, but why? Right. There was like some weird insecurity stuff with it that I shifted through. And then it was like, I could actually get down to what I actually wanted. Right. Which was, I actually just want to have the freedom and the ability to connect with people. Right. And that hit me right in the fucking feels. Right. Like fly, meet people in person, connect with them, connect with amazing humans, like connect with people on the internet, actually love and care for people. Right. Like, and, you know, maintain the connections that I had, like with people, like my family who I don't live by, and I can just fly to them whenever the fuck I feel like it. Like my best friend in the world who moved to Colorado because she sucks. I'm just kidding. And then just go fly to her. And it's like, there's an actual emotional connection there. And then it's like, what that ended up providing me, which is why this is relevant to this call, was like a purpose beyond money and growing my following. Right. So it's like, that's where, because it truly was never about that. Right. Those things are always byproducts, like growing your following or getting more engagement on your content or whatever the fuck. Right. Or making more money. Like those are always like a byproduct of a deeper desire you have. And when you actually get in touch with the deeper desire, because you deal with the insecurities or the fears or whatever, you'll naturally be in touch with that desire. And when that desire is there, you actually, your heart's there. And then your heart, like, I'm telling you guys, like I'm getting goosebumps as I'm about to say this, because it's so like, right. But like, the way you have a successful business and you have everything that you want and you expand into like everything you've ever wanted forever, going on forever, is like being in your heart, right? Not being in your fucking money hungry bullshit, which we all have it, don't lie. Like that's like the ego, that's the fear, right? Because it's like, if there's a conscious desire to seek money or to seek larger following or whatever, it's like you have nothing to be ashamed of at all. Because like there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, those are just symptomatic of a deeper desire, right? But it's like our brain has these ideas of how we get love and connection. And my point is, it always boils down to love and connection, right? Because that's like, as human beings, that's just how we're hardwired, right? So when it boils down to love and connection and you're actually directly in touch with what it actually is about, you could be in your heart and grow your business really easily. while also like not pulling offers out of your booty hole because it's like, let me try and make some money, right? Or let me try and like do what they're doing because it logically makes sense with my model because our modelers are similar and blah, blah, blah. It's like you can actually be in your heart and bring radical change into your industry for one, but also like live your life, right? Not these other people's lives, not these other people's businesses, and really truly talk and connect to your kind of people. And that's fulfillment, right? That's fulfilling, right? And then from there, it's like things like how much money I make this month and kind of stop being relevant. Just you kind of stop caring about them. And it's not from this place of like, oh, I don't give a shit and I'm just going to stay making as much money as I am right now. Like, hell's no, that does not happen. It's the opposite, actually. Like, there's more ease integrated into your business and into your life and into your desires. And it's just like as simple as, I want that and I'm going to have it, and I get to have it because I want to, right? And it's like, it's not just some lie you say to yourself in your brain. It's something you genuinely are emotionally connected to. Yes, I feel like there's so much pressure to focus on the bullshit and avoid the focus on the connection. Yeah, for sure. But I think, I mean, honestly, for me too, like that was something I used to talk about a lot in my marketing and even still a little bit. But we can only really speak to where we are. And I think a lot of people just aren't connected to the connection, what they're really wanting, right? And I don't think it's intentional by any means. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Oh, hello. I just found the chat on my phone. Good. Happy to have you in there. Okay, so is everybody following so far? Drop me something in the chat box to let me know you're all still paying attention. Good shit. I totally got why I feel like I don't get to have as many of the clients I want, and it's totally not true, of course. Totally. And it's like something that's really beautiful is like you always have your answers, but it's like a lot of the times we just don't let ourselves be in touch with them because we're not addressing our baggage or our bullshit, right? I need to stop looking at the chat box and getting distracted. I'll come back to it. But anyways, we don't like let ourselves be in our hearts, and our hearts is where we naturally are and function as humans, as long as we're not being in our shit and being in our fear and avoiding dealing with our fear because it's so fiery and scary, right? And then it's like when you're naturally in your heart, you're clear, right? And clarity yields confidence. Confidence yields follow through yields breakthroughs. You know what I mean? And like everything, like your business just gets to be like growing your business is so easy. Like I'm telling you guys, like I used to make growing my business so hard, so hard because I wasn't fairy. Yeah. Sounds like fairy, but it's not like that at all. But yeah, I used to make growing my business really hard because I did avoid a lot of these deeper things that, like I've said online before, when I overcame them, like before overcoming them, like I thought I just had to live with them. I thought that was just how things were. That was just how Genevieve was going to be. Okay, let me check in with you guys in the chat box. Yes, that really helped me with my why, and I worked through that over the 30 days too, naturally without trying. Yeah, beautiful. Love what you said about your lack of why. I always feel like my why isn't strong enough. Yeah, totally. I used to feel like that too. Yes, awesome. Yes, drinking too. Good. It's a party up in here. Should I go get my rosé? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Fury, I love it. Driving to self-retreat for weekend, but listening. Cool. OMG, literally for me, the money does for sure come down to the connection. Like I have a deep desire to connect with my party people, humans, and connect, fly places, like all that, hanging with my humans and connecting and loving on them versus the money. Yeah, and I think that's what it boils down to for most of us, because it's like we all kind of gravitated to similar industries for a reason because we have similar core desires, right? Yeah, this is all the stuff I've addressed a lot, but it's still coming up and I just need to keep leaning into it and works my through it. Laura, you're drinking, aren't you? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay. I'm in Ibiza the night before body boot camp. So nice. No more wine for a week. Cool. Great job, love. Okay. So what was I going to say? How did you shift that for yourself to really take the pressure off the money, just focusing on connection? No. So we actually talked about this on our call the other day, Danny, but it was really just like, I couldn't force myself to be in my heart until I dealt with my fear. Right. Yeah, no worries, Laura. But like, I couldn't, like, to me, it kind of feels like what Abraham Hicks says, like trying to take too big of a leap. You know, it's like you can't go from here to here when your energy is just not there. So for me, it was like I had to really work through scarcity. And this was something that I wish, like a lot of my things that I teach you guys and that I teach on the internet and stuff is like all stuff I've kind of experimented with myself, or I learned through trial and error or whatever. As well as like concepts I've learned from like Abraham Hicks or whatever, and just applied them and whatever, experimented, right? But anyway, so you can't connect in your heart and be in your heart if like there's a survival drive that's kicked in, right? Like making money, right? Like I need to make money because I'm so unsafe. Like you can't override that and go into your heart. Like it's like you have to deal with that and then you'll naturally be in your heart. Does that make sense? So for me, what it really just boiled down to was like, I just got to this point where I was like, I'm just done worrying about money. Like even if I made $0 this month, fuck it. Like I'm just not worrying about money anymore. That's just not what I'm going to be doing. Yeah, totally, Danny. And it was just like, from there. So there's like a difference, and let me know if you guys relate. And I think I have a feeling a lot of you will. But it's not from this place of like, oh, I'm not going to worry about it and I'm going to be complacent and like I'm going to let my money like dwindle away and I'm not going to make any money. Because I feel like for me, that's when your fear is still actively there, but you're just kind of suppressing it or not dealing with it or avoiding it, right? But whereas when you actually like choose like, no, this gets to work, or like, no, I'm actually not going to freak out about that. Like I'm not going to make that mean things. I'm not going to make me not signing a client today mean that like my business is doomed, or make it mean that like I don't get to make a lot of money this month, or in general or whatever, right? And you truly just actually decide for things to go your way and for things to work out for you. And you choose to just be like this, like, because I'm telling you guys, like there were times where I've made so much motherfucking money in a month where it's like, and I still felt unsafe, right? In that scarcity pattern. Like an amount of money is not, I swear to God, is not your answer to feeling more safe. And there's this quote that I saw from Jim Carrey. You guys have probably seen it if you like Jim Carrey or have even heard of him. But he's like, I hope that I wish that everyone could become rich and successful so they could find out that that isn't what you want, right? That that's not everything. So we have a question that I think she accidentally sent to me privately, so I'll read it to you guys. What are your ideas about sticking with your whys? I feel I have a tendency to neglect my whys. Wow, I just blew a fuse just recognizing this now. Cool. But anyway, so I feel like for me, it's not really, if you feel like you have to force yourself to connect to your why, you don't actually have your why, right? It's not something that you have to force, right? It's just like, it's kind of like if you've ever been in a relationship, you guys, let me know if you relate. If you've ever been in a relationship where like you weren't actually in love with the person, right? But you loved a lot of things about them, and being in love with them felt like it took effort. Have you ever been in a relationship? Come on, you guys. You have, shut up. But anyways, that's just like not the relationship. You know what I mean? So it's like the same thing with your why. If it feels like it's effortful, like it's not your why. Like you'll just naturally, hello, first marriage. Thank you for someone coming clean. Just kidding. But anyways, so when you connect to it, you fucking feel it. Like, you know it. Right. So yeah, like something, you guys just have to know that like, you're not in this by yourself, and this isn't something that you have to effort to death. Like if you just relax, and trust me, I'm speaking from personal experience, right? If you just relaxed and like didn't need to know the answer right this second, but you knew you got to know the answer, and you just kind of like explored it as the inspiration was there, and you didn't let yourself get complacent in your energy, but you truly just kept your energy moving, it's like you would naturally just connect to it. You would naturally figure it out and find it, right? As long as you just stayed in that place where you're like, I'm intuitive and like I feel things and I'm just going to follow this thing, right? Have you guys ever had that experience journaling where you're just like, I have this thing that just needs to come out, and you start journaling and you start asking yourself this question and you're like, ooh, clarity breakthrough, right? Have any of you had that experience or anything like it? Yeah. Yeah. Then with my husband now, I just know. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like that same thing with like kind of uncovering the things that aren't serving you. It's like if you just take the pressure off and you just like, I don't know, let yourself fucking take a nap in a hammock or something. You know what I mean? Like it's like that mentality of like, it's fine. Even if you don't have enough money to pay your bills, even if you were just that light and easy about it, you would sure as shit, I swear to God, move the energy to the point where you got money to pay your bills. You know what I mean? Like these things don't have to be hard. They don't have to take a long time. They don't have to feel hard. Like you're doing it all by yourself. Like you have so much to do. Like you need to figure it out, but you don't know where to start. It's like God will guide you. The universe will guide you. Like that's always there, always available to you. You just have to make sure you're in the mood to feel it. Right. So like something happened to me the other day. I don't remember what it was, but I had a question about something and it was like internal work related. And I got on Facebook, and I don't scroll on Facebook very much anymore, you guys, which is good. I used to be really bad at that. But anyways, I don't really scroll on Facebook. I just kind of say what I want to say when I feel like saying shit, and I just get off. Or sometimes if I think about someone intentionally, I'll go and look at their stuff, but I'm never just like, you know. But anyway, so the other day, I think I posted something, and then I went to like click off, and then there was this Facebook ad. And something inside me was like, click on the Facebook ad. And it wasn't like a strong nudge. It wasn't like, oh my God, I feel like I need to click on this Facebook ad. It was just like a little baby nudge. Like, let me just click on this. And I was like, okay. And I clicked on the Facebook ad. And then the Facebook ad took me through this thing where I got to watch this video. And this video like clarified a question I had, which led me to this other thing, which led me to my answer. You know what I mean? Like God is a trippy bitch who's conspiring to get you your answers, your solutions, your clients, everything. Like you just have to be in the space to receive it. Okay. I totally have my why, and it feels the same knowing as I've always had with my now husband. Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's awesome. Okay. This is a pattern I have. Even when I sell my coaching packages, I still feel unsafe, needing money, feeling it's never enough. Then I have a period without selling packages. Then I start selling again, but not feeling safe and all that bullshit. So it starts the circle again. How can I change that? So it just sounds like it's just a pattern you have to change, which isn't hard, but it just takes attention. Like you can't just like keep doing the same things over and over and expecting it to just be whisked away and like go away on its own. Like this is, God is a, I don't think I said that. I don't think I said that. Is that what I said? No, I think I said trippy bitch. Didn't I? I don't know. Anyways. But yeah, Camilla, with that pattern, like, honestly, I would just like, it sounds like there's a lot of resistance around that. It sounds like you feel like the coaching stirs up this idea that like, you're not good enough, which stirs up this idea of like, nobody's going to pay me money, which stirs up this idea of like, I don't get to make money and I'm not going to have money and I'm unsafe. Right. So, and I used to have a very similar pattern, but one day it's just like, I think it's just like when you take the pressure off finding the solution, like what I was saying, and you just know you get to have the answer and you know you just get to progress. So there are some practical things that can help you for sure, like meditating every day. Like meditating every day allows you to just like consciously be in a space of non-resistance long enough so you can kind of actively come into your life from a better feeling perspective. And it's like the more you get up here, like on this high flying disc, like Abraham Hicks says, or alignment, like the more you just get up here more often, you just start to like know what it's like, know what it feels like and get acclimated there. And so it's like, as you start to like dwindle down or fall off or whatever we're calling it, or run into trees or whatever, it's like you start to become aware of like what that process starts to feel like. And you can start catching it earlier on. And you start to like create so much more awareness around it that you can start to know how to move out of them, how to figure out what they're actually about and let them go forever. But it's just like a process that like I wouldn't need to know the answer right now. And I think that's comes from this feeling of ultimately feeling secure, you know? So when you just know, you just have to it's just something you have to keep playing with until you feel a connection to it, right? Keep playing with the idea of being secure, keep playing with the idea of being good enough. Like, maybe let me think of myself as future me who already knows she's good enough, or let me think of myself as the God version of me who knows they're good enough, right? Like, I'm not Genevieve, I'm God. You know what I mean? Like, I'm God wearing a Genevieve mask. You know what I mean? Like, and just play with these ideas until like there's a connection to it. And then when this thing creates a connection, you just play with that over and over until it yields you to a deeper connection or a deeper connection or a different connection. You just play with it over and over. And then the energy just gets more and more, or that like idea gets more and more active in your energy. And when it's more and more active in your energy, there's like a bigger spectrum to play with. And it's just easier to hook into and be in and bring into your offers, right? Like, I'm not saying it'll be a perfect, easy thing right away, but it's like, as long as you keep moving into it and playing with it and like, you know, just like working at it. Does that make sense? A trippy god wearing a Genevieve mask. Yeah. Creepy. Cool. So yeah, these are the two things that I want you guys to integrate into your life. What am I seeking from this? And this is just another tool, right? And what am I making this mean if it doesn't work? Because these things will yield you so much clarity to actually, because like, again, you guys, like the goal is always just to be in your heart, right? That is where all the miracles happen. That is where all the money comes. That is where all the people find your work. That is where all the clients come. It's just like being in your heart and loving people, or just like relaxing and like drinking a glass of wine and like not even thinking about your business, because it's just like things are fine. You're fine. It's all fine. We're all fine. It's all good. You know? Make sense? Okay. So I feel like this is a good stopping point unless anybody has any questions. So I'll wait like a minute or two. So if you guys have any questions, otherwise, yeah, if you have a question, just like drop in the chat box and say like, just drop some kind of letter. How about like a hey? Just say hey in the chat box. Yeah, no, it's true. Yep. Your body loves it because it's true. Okay, so Joanna has a question. I will wait for the question. I'm almost out of water. Yeah, have fun socializing. Okay. I've been moving through pattern that if money doesn't come consistently, I won't make it and I will never have enough money. That's just such a lie though. Like, and if I can believe that, anybody can. You guys do not know how hard it was for me to be in this. Like, it was just so, oh, you were just saying hi. You didn't have a question? Okay. But anyways, it felt like the idea of overcoming this not enoughness around money felt very, very hard for me at one point, well into my business. But it's like, you got to just believe me when I tell you that security is not money. Like, and don't just hear me on a mental level and be like, yeah, Genevieve, you and everybody else on the planet has said that. But it's like, truly like take that into your heart and like embody that. Like, security is not money. Security is security. Security is a feeling, right? And it's just like, from there, I don't know, for me, I just got to this point where I just worried about it so fucking much over and over and over again. And I kept trying to consciously work myself out of that pattern and out of that pattern and out of that pattern. And it would always come up again and it would always come up again. And it wasn't until like, I just had one too many times of just feeling like shit around it, or feeling so anxious, or feeling like things weren't working. And then I would like stagnate things because I was so fucking worried, and I would try and strong arm things because I was so fucking worried. But it's like, that is just not a way to live life. You know what I mean? It's just not worth it. It's not worth it to worry. It's just not worth it to worry. Yeah, pretty much, Laura. So, Joanna, I feel like intuitively guided to tell you to listen to this call again, from a looser mind, if that makes sense. I think you know what I mean, though. But yeah, the replay will be up either tonight or tomorrow. But anyways, like, my point is, there is no there is no answer except to just relax and be in your heart. That's my point. And these are just like what I gave you on the call today is just like tools and techniques of how to do that directly in relationship to things you want. Because I know as human beings, when we tend to get specific, like specifically focused on like selling out an offer or signing a client or making this much money per month or whatever it is, like then we tend to like strong arm things and get worried and think they're not going to work or feel like we don't have enough or that we aren't enough or whatever. And then it's like these tools that I gave you are what will move you out of those energies, right? But ideally the goal is to just be so in your heart and be so just relaxed and like life isn't a big deal and it's a fucking joke, it's a game, right? That it's just like you can come into it in the right energy in the first place and maintain that energy throughout it and just have it work and have it be easy. Make sense? Then more relaxed in general. That's good. Good. So being relaxed is great. Being relaxed in your business, even better when we bring that in. Yeah. And your heart. Totally. Perfect. All right. Awesome, guys. I hope you enjoyed this call. Whatever, if you got any breakthroughs from it, feel free to post it in the group and make the other people who couldn't be here live jealous. Okay, perfect. So I'll have the replay up later tonight or tomorrow. So have a great rest of your night and enjoy your wine, ladies. Bye.